Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Frank and Friends. Today, we're going to be doing another science experiment, and we're going to be talking about where rain comes from. Does anybody know where rain comes from? Where does it come from? Yeah, the sky. It comes from the sky. It comes from the clouds in the sky, and it falls to the ground, and we get wet sometimes, but that's okay. So we're going to talk about where it comes from. So I have a little bowl. It's called a measuring bowl, and I have about 1 cup of water in here. And so we're going to see after a long period of time where that water might go. Do you think it'll stay in the bowl or do you think it'll go away? If I just leave it here all day, what do you think will happen? Yeah, it'll go away actually. So if you think about it, do you know where do you think puddles go after it rains? You know how when it rains really hard and there's puddles all over the ground, you notice that you can go out and play in them and splash in them and it's really fun, but in the morning they're gone. And it's like, where did they go? Well, there is little water droplets in the sky called water vapor. We can't see it with our eyes, but water in a puddle will slowly rise into the air where we can't see. The sun will help that, and it will slowly rise into the air. We won't be able to see it, and slowly the puddle goes away, and then there's no more puddle anymore. So we're going to do the same experiment, but with a bowl, and we're going to wait for a really long time. We're going to wait all day and see if we put water here. It might take a couple of days, too. It might take 1, maybe 2 days. So if we sit here for a really long time, we can see where how far the water will go down, and we won't have to do anything. So let's do that. Let's sit here. Let the bowl sit here, and then we'll come back tomorrow morning. Okay, ready? Good morning, everyone. We're back with our little water experiment. It's been a full day, and we're back this next morning. And if you notice, we're a little over a half of water left. There's less water in here than there used to be. And that's because the water vapor went into the air. And that's really cool, isn't it? So if you want to try that, that's how water gets into the air. You can try that at home and fill a bowl up with water and see how long it takes for it to get completely empty. Okay? So what happens when the water does get into the air? It forms in the clouds, right? And so, look, I have a glass full of ice. And what do you think happens to the glass when the ice is in it? It gets cold. The inside is cold. But what happens to the outside? Do you know? Well, it does this thing where it's called condensation. The outside will eventually get wet, and we will notice that the water vapor in the air will stick to the outside of the glass, and then we will be able to see it. We will be able to see the water vapor from our puddle experiment on the glass. So let us wait, and we'll wait a couple hours. This one doesn't take as long, but we'll wait a couple hours and we'll see what happens to the ice and to the outside of the glass. Ready? Okay, see you back in a couple of hours. Okay, welcome back. Here's our glass. It is a little, the ice is melted, but the outside of the glass is wet. Can you see my hand, how wet my hand is? Well, that's because the outside of the glass the water vapor on the outside of the glass became so heavy. It became so much water that it started to sweat. It started to come down the glass on the outside so we could see it. Now, we can talk about how that happens in the rain clouds too. We have water vapor that comes up from the oceans and the lakes and the puddles on the ground into the sky. And then they get into the clouds. And then when there's so much water in the clouds, it becomes heavy, and we can see that the water is becoming heavy, and we can start seeing it. And then it falls to the ground because that's what happens when it rains. It collects in the cloud. It all gathers in the cloud, and it becomes so heavy in that cloud that it rains down to the ground. And then the whole thing happens all over again. So that's why it continues to rain, and that's where rain comes from. So if you want to try this experiment at home, you can fill up a bowl with water and see how long it takes for the water to disappear, or you can fill up a cup with ice and see how long it takes for the water to form on the outside of the glass. And then you too can tell me where rain comes from. But try those at home. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.